What is up, guys? It is Marcella Zanetti, your host for the podcast More You, recorded at One More Studios. And today, I am honored to be with a very special guest, fashionista, lifestyle blogger, content creator, digital marketer, and girl on the internet, as she likes to call herself, Miss Coco Bassey.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
Of course, I'm so happy that you're here. Let's jump right into it.
Sure.
You are a fashion blogger all over the place. You do many, many different things. So I hope that we get into that on this podcast today. So first question, let's get into it. Tell me about your style. You know, how would you describe your style? What's your day-to-day thing that you do?
So for me, when I started a blog or started sharing my style on Instagram, it wasn't really so much looking for like the trendiest pieces. I love taking like classics and putting, some kind of like elevated twist on them. So like a really great fit in my jeans and like with some like really cool distressing or like a really cool fit that, you wouldn't find anywhere else. Or even if it comes to just like simple button down shirts, like I like to find things that are a little bit different, about them that just make them a little bit more interesting. And so it really is just kind of taking classic wardrobe pieces and elevating them, switching them up, making them fit like for your own body, for your own style. So I'm all about an elevated basic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you are very unique as well.
Yeah.
You like to have that uniqueness to your style. I love that.
Yeah.
How do you use fashion as a creative expression?
Well, it's been interesting, especially this past year when everyone's living in sweatpants.
True.
But
myself included.
Yeah, but I feel like even with sweats, people have taken that and found ways to still make it like our own style. And at the end of the day, like the clothes you wear speak about you before you even like open your mouth and say a word. And so for me, it's just kind of putting on clothing that makes me feel good, that makes me feel confident in my own body. And I think that at the end of the day, whatever it is that you wear, it has to be something that like doesn't just fit, what you look at as like trendy or popular, but it's got to be something that makes you feel good too. And so that's always what I strive to aim for whenever I'm getting dressed for the day.
That's really important. You got to feel good with what you're wearing,
Totally.
of course. And you look good as
Thank you.
May I just say your outfit
you.
today is perfect.
Thank you.
So how, you just said that you you moved to New York recently, right? You moved from Atlanta, I believe.
I sure did. Coming up on 1 year now.
Wow.
I came to New York in February last year, right before the pandemic and everything. But
that must have sucked.
Yeah, so it wasn't like ideal timing. I'm still like so happy I made the move though, because I have like really good friends up here. So it's just been a nice new change. Obviously, I'm really excited for things to go back to whatever normal will end up being after all of this.
Yes.
But I love the city. I grew up living in big cities, so I always knew that this was where I eventually wanted to be, and so I'm really excited to be here.
That's awesome. Where are you from?
I'm Nigerian. But we grew up moving around a lot because of my parents' jobs. So we lived in Berlin for some years, in Prague, in Ottawa, and did like kind of a lot of traveling in between, all of that too.
Sounds very exciting, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys, she is a world traveler over here. She's amazing. But not only is she a fashionista, but you also do digital marketing. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit more of what I used to do right before I moved to New York. I was kind of doing the whole corporate thing and doing that alongside my creative endeavors too. And so it is still kind of what I do in my day-to-day. And so, I mean, it's really closely related to the work I do as like content creating for brands. A lot of it, while it does come with that creative angle, you also do have to approach it professionally as well. And so even when it comes to things like social posts, like copywriting, all of that kind of stuff, it's just like making sure that the brands and clients that I work for, that I am showing them in the best light, making them, like visible. Like that's like why they work with me. So yeah, I mean, it's been kind of cool because I always, even professionally, I worked in marketing. So it's kind of cool to be able to take that professional side of what I do and kind of add it in with my creative side and like create my own job more or less. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Girl of many talents.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell us about your website. You have a blog, right? I believe it's called Coco Bassey. Go check it out, guys.
Sure
it looks and is amazing. I've checked it out myself. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so that's kind of an extension of all of my social media channels. It's kind of where, you know, if any of my followers see a video or a photo on like any of my channels, you can probably go to my blog and see like that in detail. So like that's where I link the outfits that I wear, you know, my favorite things, even like apartment updates, which people are loving, especially now that everyone's at home these days. So it's kind of that extension of my personal brand.
Nice. I love that.
Thanks.
And do you share any beauty secrets on there? I must ask, what is your number one beauty secrets? Let's tell it to the people. We have to know.
Oh, that's a kind of a tough one. I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, you got to stay hydrated, so like drink water. But I feel like that's also kind of boring too. I don't know. I think for me, I've always kept my makeup and skincare like as simple as possible. And so really it's all like in the simplicity. As long as you kind of keep it simple and you keep up with it, consistency is where it's at.
Yeah, I feel that. I need to take some of those tips myself. Lastly, you know, with this ever-changing fashion industry, you know, how do you keep up with it changing all the time? You know, the trends, or do you, like you said in the beginning, you go your own route, your own way? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I think it's so important to know who you are, especially like in any creative industry, really, but especially just because fashion is so visual. It's really important to make sure that whatever it is that you are wearing or like sharing with your audience like speaks true to who I am. So I work with a lot of luxury brands, for example, and I know that like streetwear is like really popular on social media these days too. But we've seen a lot of these brands kind of start to converge. Like I think one of the biggest collaborations last year was Dior's Air Jordans that dropped, and so like everyone was all about those. And it's kind of been fun to see all of these different paths that used to be so separate from each other, like finally coming together, because I think that speaks to the everyday person. Like, you know, you'll like the designer bag, but you'll also like want to be comfortable in a pair of sneakers. And I feel like that kind of speaks to how, you know, I dress on my day-to-day, like keep it casual, but also, you know, if you want to dress it up or add something a little bit luxe to feel, you know, a little special,
of course.
Why not? Yeah.
I love that. I love that vibe. That's great. Well, Coco, it's been wonderful having you and for you to share your secrets in beauty and fashion. I'd love to see you back here.
Of course, I definitely will be.
Tell us where we can find you, our viewers, where you can find. And
I am Coco Bassey across all of my platforms, so on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, my website, Coco Bassey. So just throw it in Google and it'll all come up.
Nice. Go follow her, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Working with you, having this little conversation. I hope to have you back soon.